So, what does it really take to get the attention of a super successful, independent woman? Well, there's a fascinating and honestly pretty provocative argument making the rounds that says the old rules of dating, they're completely useless here. We're going to break down this whole theory, and believe it or not, it all starts with one very specific number. Right before we even talk about her salary, the argument kicks off with this: 700 euros. Now, this isn't her fun money. This is the price of her independence. We're talking rent, bills, insurance, her security. It's the foundation that she built and pays for all by herself. And this is the line in the sand. This is the core idea that everything else is built on. A simple "what's up?" It just doesn't cut it. The whole point is that her success, her self-sufficiency, well, it demands a totally different game plan. So, who exactly is this woman we're talking about? Okay, first things first, let's paint a really clear picture of the person at the heart of this whole thing. Understanding her world is the absolute key to figuring out why the standard dating playbook might be failing so hard. So, her life is disciplined, it's demanding. According to the source, she's not just making good money, she is completely self-reliant. Every single success, every bill she pays, it's all on her. Her own effort, her own drive. She is the architect of her own life. And that right there brings us to the central problem, doesn't it? Someone who has absolutely mastered high effort and discipline to get where she is, she's not going to be impressed by a low effort approach. It's like you're trying to play a game with the person who wrote the rule book. All right, so now that we get her, let's look at where things so often just go wrong. This next part is all about that common minimal effort move and exactly why it backfires. We all know this text. You've sent it, you've gotten it. It's easy, it's safe, and according to this argument, it's totally, completely ineffective. It's a message that gets sent 100 times a day, but for her, it just lands differently. And her reaction is everything. It's not just that she's not interested. The source describes it as an actual eye roll, a negative gut reaction. See, the problem isn't the greeting itself. The problem is that it demanded her attention, her focus, without offering anything of substance back. You made a withdrawal from her attention bank, and you made zero deposit. And here's why. Her life is already full. It's already engaging. She isn't just sitting around waiting for a text to pop up. Your message isn't filling a void. It's an interruption. And if that interruption isn't valuable, guess what? It's just noise. So if the lazy, low-effort approach is the problem, what's the solution? This is where the whole argument pivots. We're moving from what's wrong to a very different kind of action. This is the big shift from empty chit-chat to solid, concrete logistics. The core advice is actually pretty simple. Stop talking in what-ifs and start showing a plan. The whole idea is to replace that pointless back and forth with a clear demonstration of your intent and your ability to make things happen. And get this, the source doesn't just give a small suggestion. It gives this incredibly specific, almost wild example. Don't just suggest a trip. No, plan it, book it, and then present it to her, already done. Now look, the point isn't that you have to book a trip to France. It's a metaphor for the level of effort we're talking about here. And here's what that proof looks like. The very first message isn't a question. It's not, "Hey, you want to go?" It's a statement. Boom, the flight is booked. This one move completely changes the dynamic from maybe to win. And it just keeps building from there. Next up, the hotel confirmation. This shows you followed through. It wasn't just some crazy idea. It was the first step in a thought-out, realized plan. And finally, an actual planned activity. This shows thoughtfulness that goes way beyond just the travel logistics. It says, I've not only gotten us there, I've thought about the experience itself. Every potential question she might have had, it's already been answered before she could even ask. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This is all about money, isn't it? But the source is really, really clear that it is not. Let's get into the deeper philosophy behind this whole logistical approach. This is probably the most critical point to understand. Yes, the gesture might be expensive, but its real value is not on the price tag. The argument is that if you were focused on the cost, you were missing the entire point. The core concept here is something called functional imagination. It's the difference between saying, hey, we should go to Paris sometime, and actually presenting a fully booked itinerary. It's a direct display of your competence, your foresight, and your ability to turn a vague idea into a real thing. And in a way, it's a mirror of how she probably operates in her own life, turning goals into actual plans. In this idea of functional imagination, it leads directly to the source's knockout punchline. It completely reframes attraction. It argues that the real engine of all that planning, the part of your brain that handles execution and complex problem solving, that is the ultimate attractive quality. So, to put it as simply as possible, the shift in communication looks like this. The goal is to move away from the column on the right, the pointless chit chat, and focus everything on the column on the left. It's about demonstrating capability, not just passing the time. And this brings us right back to where we started. We began with the problem of that low effort message, and we end with the most common complaint that comes from it being completely ignored or left unseen. This is such a powerful way to reframe that whole experience, isn't it? Being left unseen isn't a lack of a reply. It is the reply. It's a perfectly symmetrical response that mirrors the exact minimal level of energy that you put into your first message. So that's the final thought this source material leaves us with. It really challenges you to rethink what communication is. Is it just about swapping words, or is it an exchange of energy, of intent? According to this argument, it's definitely the latter. Definitely something to think about.